I'm Psalm One, and this is Audiotree Live, where we cater to the band-obsessed baddie in you. Now, New Jersey is a rock mecca, and this next band carries that torch of greatness with vibrant, earnest bangers. They're nearly a decade in, and they're just getting started. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Flycatcher.
I wanna be like my brother. He learned to work with his hands. He just dismantled the engine on my minivan. Well, there ain't no such thing as perfect, but we all do what we can. Well, I wanna be like my brother, 'cause he's a good man. Yeah. Everybody needs it, but no one seems to care about the way things work and making repairs. Yeah, I wanted to be that, but I'm not sure if I can. Well, if all else fails, at least I got him.
All right, we're here with Justin, Greg, Mateo, and Jack, better known as Flycatcher. Welcome in today, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
No, we're super excited to have you here. You're doing the 1-2 punch of playing here, then playing your show tonight, so you'll be nice and warmed up. This is also the first day of tour for you, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So how's that feeling? It's like a little buzz in the air, right?
It's a little weird to like start the tour with a live session. Like usually we're like, a couple shows in and we're like, oh, we're hitting our stride, but this is like the first.
Yeah, it's
gig.
like,
but it's kind of cool. Like it's kind of fun to just like rip the Band-Aid off with like
an Audiotree session.
an Audiotree, just a session, just like right away. But no, we're stoked. I mean, it's gonna be a fun tour, so we're excited.
You definitely told me that this was like a bucket list situation for
sure.
you. So like we're exactly like you're exactly where you need to be,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is kind of like was a big selling point for this whole, like, not that like we didn't want to do the tour, but like getting to Chicago, getting to Chicago from Jersey is always just like, man, we got to drive to Chicago with no shows like to get out there. So like having this to look forward to, we're like, all right, cool, like Audiotree and then a nice show, like.
How different was the planning for like a set like this versus like your tour set?
To be honest, we built this set around like, and that was just going to be our tour set.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to be playing majority of these songs, like, I mean, these songs plus like 2 more for the tour set.
Straight bangers.
Yeah. So it's just, we're going right for it.
I know y'all formed in New Brunswick, but are y'all all living there now? Where are y'all located? Still in Jersey?
Go around.
Yeah, so I'm in Jersey City. I did stick around New Brunswick for a little while. We all miss it so much, but I'm in Jersey City now, personally.
I'm a bit older than all them, and I was also in New Brunswick, but 5 years before them. I'm the grandfather of the group, and they all live in Jersey City.
Okay.
We can skip that.
Where do you live?
I live. I was trying to avoid saying that. No, I live about 10, 15 minutes from Asbury Park, New Jersey. I live in Howell, New Jersey.
Okay. My family was in North Bergen for a little while.
Oh,
so.
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, so I got a lot of New Jersey love actually.
North Bergen's awesome.
Yeah. So, Greg, you talk about honoring your creative instincts, even in studio with like legendary producers, and that gets us slappers like Brother. Was that always a thing? And can you remember a time where you weren't so sure about what you did to and what you did to like move through that?
I mean, yeah, I was definitely like, so when I started writing songs and like doing stuff for like this band, like I was just trying to figure out how to make music, like I wasn't really thinking like, oh, like I'm gonna make like catchy songs or like anything like that. I was just worried about like getting a song out, that's something that we could play like at a basement show or whatever. And like I feel like in the last couple of years, I feel like I've come into my own a little bit more and just like trusting my instincts. And like we were talking before about like Brother and just having like a simple chorus that works, and just like, but that's like 8 years in the making, of like being able to be like, I think the word is enough,
For sure.
Because like if I did that when I like first started, I feel like it would not work.
Yeah, a little lazy.
For some reason, maybe it's a little lazy, maybe whatever. But then like it's all about context, So it's like you put that in context with something else that's like got a little bit more something behind it, and then like they kind of inform each other,
Absolutely. The band has gone through much fine tuning and pruning, but what's gotten creatively easier through the years for like the band as a collective?
I mean, I guess we can all go around on that one, but I think for me it's been like just like knowing when a song is like right, like just like working on something and then being like, this is like good. Like just like not being in one of those situations where you're like, if we just add one more thing, then it'll be good. It's like, no, it's like from the rip, you just kind of know, like, this is just going to be good. And, like, we just have to follow it through and just, like, guitars, bass, drums, vocal, and that's it. And, like, we're gonna be happy with it, not over baking stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. For me, I've been in the band about 4.5 or 5 years, I think, coming up on 5 years. And so they had a bunch of really good songs before I joined. And then I think for me, it's just gotten a lot easier to know, like, to find the right part to play, like not trying to rush something out and take it home and sit with it, and just trying to find the thing that best like suits the song and the overall vibe of everything.
So those instincts, for sure.
For me, I feel like it would be understanding each other's tastes a little better, not necessarily changing our tastes to be more similar, but obviously we have a lot of overlap, which is why this works. I think we all like a lot of similar things, but we all have our uniqueness that pulls us in different directions, and kind of we've become better, I think, at finding that middle ground where, kind of like Greg was talking about, like I think that's where these songs live, is kind of in between. So knowing what each other likes, and knowing where each of us wants to pull it, I think helps us kind of hone it better.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jack.
Thanks.
I'm very new to the band, so I think like finding out everyone's tastes has been something that I've been sort of trying to do since I stepped into this role. And I think, as far as like creatively working together, I just like am we're just starting to get into the groove of like gelling as a unit and like just starting to work on some new stuff. And it's kind of, for me, still at the point where like anything feels new and exciting because it's a new and exciting situation. So I'm in a very fortunate position compared to all of them.
Our situations are unfortunate.
We're all super sick of this.
So we kind of discussed it already, but the debut is also produced by the legend Will Yip. What kind of sauce and what kind of gems did you pick up being in Studio 4 with him? I know you were talking about like getting that low end, getting that bass, like get that kicking. You know what I mean? It like sounds crazy in the car too. So
Yeah, Will he's done so many of our favorite records. So like having the chance to work with him was obviously like a no-brainer. But yeah, for us, like, I think for me at least, like, seeing how detailed and like how like fine, like just a fine-tooth comb he goes over everything with, like,
Sure.
especially like down to just like getting takes and like not really like, not accepting something that's like less than perfect, you know, and like that's just kind of his whole thing, and that's why his records just sound so good, because it's like you can just hear the space and like the perfect like gaps in everything that like are meant to be there because it was played correctly and the like dialed in right. And so like I think that's like a big part of just like I definitely took that with me of just like really scrutinizing myself a little bit more and just like not being hard on myself, but just like listening to myself more and be like, oh, like I can improve my playing or my singing or whatever it is. And so I think that was a big thing where I just like didn't realize you could do it to such a degree.
Yeah.
And then after being with him, I was like, oh, like, and he can bring it out of anybody too, which is like really like he can just like each of us would sit down and we would play our respective instruments, and it was just like next person's up, like now it's your turn in the hot seat, like you gotta show up, you know. And it was really nice to like kind of get that like I don't know, it felt like working out. Like it felt like working out in a way, which was really cool because then you see the result and you hear it back and you're just like, yeah, like that is perfect. Like you were right. Like we needed to do it that way.
So many times you'd play like, or I would play like half of a note, and he'd be like, "Do it again."
Space bar.
I'm like, I don't even know what I did wrong, but I guess he was right, wasn't he?
He was so right because
Well,
then what made it onto the record was awesome takes.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah,
sound,
yeah.
there's not a note out of place.
The best part is we started doing it to ourselves. I want to say like a day
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
each, you'd start stopping yourself. Where like Greg and Justin were saying, like you'd start off being like, "Why are you? That was the most flawless take I've ever played. What are you talking about?" But like, I think the biggest impact that made to me is the record doesn't sound that different than it did like at the end of each rough day. Like it was there. It was in the room. Like that second guitar would get tracked, and you'd be like, "Oh, yeah, okay." Like sure, he might redo those
It's
vocals,
mixed.
but yeah, I'm good with this.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a really fun. It was hard, like it was challenging, like because we had never worked in that way before, but it was so fun. Like I think we all had a blast doing it.
And it also just translates to the performance, you know what I mean? And like trusting your instincts so much in the studio, it just bleeds into everything else too. So yeah, congratulations on such a great record.
Thank you.
And break all the legs on tour, sell all the merch. And yeah, let's get back into the music.
You always hated Tiny Dancer. Well, I can't agree with you on that. The robocallers on the phone I never answered. We all got things that we can't stand. When you feel blue, I'd hurt myself to drive past. Wanna miss you, but don't know how. Trying to fix myself back up, but I'm too scared to. Time will heal our wounds and wash them out. Shining memory is all I can rely on now. Wanna miss you, but don't know how. Trying to fix myself back up, but I'm too scared to. The time will heal our wounds and wash them out. Shining memory is all I can rely on. Wanna miss you, but I don't know how. Been trying to fix myself back up, but I'm too scared to leave the ground. Well, time will heal our wounds and wash them out. A shatty memory is all I can rely on now. it's too late. It's I've been no one except when you want. Why you chase the sun, or sleeping for fun. It's I've been your greatest star. When I'm done, I'm done.
A massive thank you to Flycatcher for joining us today. And as always, major love to our camera ops, engineers, dogs, editors, and artists here at Audiotree, spreading the gospel of live music. These cuties are on the road right now and surely in the future, so get tickets when they're in your area. Buy up all the merch and get into their tunes, including the debut album Wrench, if you haven't already. And please like and subscribe if you love what we do, and you'll get these sessions at the top of your feed as soon as they drop. Get cool merch at audiotree.shop and follow Audiotree on all apps because the algorithm is not going to eat itself. And finally, like I always say, stay dangerous and drive safe. Please, y'all. This is Someone signing off, and I'll see you next time. Peace.